Yooka-Replaylee is a huge moment for Yooka-Laylee. Some people think it's going to ruin the original game. I don't think so. Personally, I think it will be great. And it's partly because, no offense, there's nothing to lose. The common consensus about Yooka-Laylee 1 is that it is loving and well-intentioned and true to form in many important ways, but disappointing. As in, Playtonic might still think that Banjo-Tooie is good. Did they learn the right lessons from Banjo-Tooie's shortcomings? You look at Donkey Kong 64, and there you are for Yooka-Laylee 1, but even way bigger because modern technology. So, with Replaylee, there's nowhere to go but up. So in today's video, we're going to look at some of the most significant changes to this version, and explain why it has some people concerned, whereas I will mostly defend the new alterations and additions, with the caveat that these are necessary concessions, not so much commendable goals that other devs should strive for in advance. As you'll see, it's very specific. So in the rundown today, we've got Moveset, Pages, the main collectible, navigating environments, the casino level, and finally JonTron, the voice actor from A Hat in Time. And by the end of this video, I may persuade you to buy Yooka-Replaylee, not by pressuring you, but by genuinely earning your buy-in. So grab your popcorn as we dive right into the first topic of the moves in this game, which are critically important for any Banjo-Kazooie-like. The thing is, unlike the traditional BK system of unlocking moves gradually by earning them, Yooka-Replaylee is just saying, alright, we give up, you can have all the moves right at the start. So they're coming from a place of just wanting to fix the original game's existing shortcomings, rather than creating a new charter for the studio per se. Yooka-Laylee's exploration was frustrating because you were venturing through an area and scratching your head, not quite sure if you're even supposed to be there or not. That's a common enough experience. I myself really do not like that gaming anxiety of am I wasting time in this area, trying to engineer a platforming solution that doesn't actually exist. And then in other times, when the roadblock is a lot more obvious, that has its own buzzkill. Here you are excited to access a new stretch of land and then, oh, dead end. You can definitely tell you're going to need the extended flying ability. Alright, time to try somewhere else. Again. It's painful when the payoff for solving a puzzle is so small because your reward is just another roadblock that needs another upgrade. So in 2025, Yooka-Replaylee gives you all the moves up front. And the concern with that is that this could damage the pacing and balance, because now you can just walk anywhere and be rewarded with gettable pages. It's going to feel more like Mario Odyssey and DK Bonanza in that way. Go anywhere to win. Ultimately, the reason why I will defend this change in Replaylee is specifically because the first Yooka-Laylee failed so heavily in that regard. So I can approve of it as a solution to an existing problem that the game is already stuck with, but really it should have just been solved in the game's original design, which should have succeeded in level progression balance the way Banjo-Kazooie did. Banjo-Kazooie did have inaccessible jiggies, but they were more organically built into the level as an intriguing teaser of moves you could expect down the line. Things you notice as you go, but not these surprise dead ends. Like Treasure Trove Cove had those jump pads, and you just walk by okay, I'll be using these for something at some point. Whereas Yooka-Laylee, you're wandering through the barren wastelands, all to find an oasis of content that you can't even play yet. Head back out to no man's land. So what it comes down to is that a lot of good video games are a hybrid of real-time physical sport crossed with a board game of strategic calculations. So when you just give players all the moves up front, it does sacrifice that board game component, the long game. So it's like you get a quality of life improvement of just shooting hoops casually and comfortably while losing the element of a more structured pacing of competitive basketball. So if someone's first Playtonic game is Replaylee, well, they might come out of it and think oh, well, that was a little too easy and pointless in certain ways. Stamina meter? Gone in Replaylee. For that continuous rolling move, you can continue rolling quickly for as long as you like. And you get the most advanced flying distance, so you can just break the level design and go anywhere. It's like you're fully upgraded in Breath of the Wild. And they do turn off that broken flying ability so that certain platforming areas are not totally useless and nerfed, but still with that overall concession of instant gratification, which does have its downsides, but again, this game's reputation is mediocrity, so you might as well just spice it up with a see what happens vibe. Playtonic seemed caught off guard that people didn't enjoy Yooka-Laylee 1 since it was just being true to BK. But perhaps what was happening there was that people were wincing when the game was staying true to BT. Now, another way that Playtonic is mitigating the problem of wandering around massive areas that are sometimes barren is that this time around they are actually doubling the amount of total pages that you can collect in the game. There's no change to the map structure and area design, but now those more empty areas are going to have a lot more gameplay things to do added in, which is pretty cool. And of course, I'm wondering how much of that will be redundant tasks, how much is going to be new content proper instead of just copy-pastings. By doubling the amount of pages, you sort of accomplish this pagey inflation, where now every individual pagey has less significance, which probably sounds familiar if you've played, of course, Mario Odyssey or Bonanza. There's so many moons to collect in Odyssey that it kind of undermines the satisfaction and importance of individual moons, the way it had been amazing in Mario 64, Sunshine, and of course Hat in Time. Take note. But given the specific case of Replaylee, it was probably the right call, so long as those new scenarios are not just redundant padding, the way Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild are set up. If Replaylee goes well, Nintendo might someday make a new version of Breath of the Wild. There's Stuff to Do Now edition. The original game had an admittedly trailblazing way of level advancement. Once you got enough pages to go somewhere new, you had the kind of interesting option to unlock a new world or expand an existing level. This would seem to give you a pretty cool, customizable choice to help pick your own adventure, but in practice it starts to feel like the illusion of choice. Like once you have enough pages, you can go somewhere new, you sort of feel this uneasiness because you're like, well, I could go to the next world, but I might be underprepared to get the most out of it if I've only played through an early slice or two of the first world. So you sort of feel this pressure to be comprehensive in the earlier levels before progressing, which undercuts the supposed flexibility feature. So the new system in Replaylee seems to be go anywhere you want in World 1, and once you have enough pages, you can head over to World 2, and now that whole entire level is now completely open. So Playtonic Games is doing this to, in their own words, appeal to a more modern audience, to give people what they want. Remember, Playtonic made Yooka-Laylee 1 intentionally, but audiences didn't like it, so they're giving in as a practical keep the lights on move. We'll be watching the weather vane of audience satisfaction as Replaylee launches this October. And it all may come down to how well it fixes the most infamous hated world in Replaylee, the casino level, which is the second to last world of the 5 worlds in the game, and it's generally considered to be the weakest. Here are the community sticking points that ought to be alleviated in Replaylee. Gambling mini-games in place of core gameplay mechanics. Unbalanced difficulty spikes in the mini-games. And look, I even skipped the slot machine mini-games and Pac-Man World Repack. I just don't want to have to suddenly exhaust this totally other different part of my brain that's separate from the flow. I'm here for a particular kind of physics. Next up is boring, repetitive design in the environments. These repetitious visuals were not a fan favorite, so we'll see how the new map function in Replaylee helps out. Maybe like Ubisoft waypoints. I would like that. And finally, the currency exchange system for pages was tedious. You have to trade in chips for them from the casino, so it just becomes this extra bureaucracy step to get the same kind of pages ultimately. So Playtonic has their work cut out for them. The casino level was the complete deal breaker for Andre over at GameXplain. When he got too frustrated with the casino level, he said, "I gave up. I'm done." So since he explains games for a living, he is a prime demographic looking for an improved casino. Because it's not just Andre. This Replaylee game coming out has existential stakes on the line for Rareware's legacy. Playtonic Games recently had a round of unfortunate layoffs of downsizing or right-sizing, as the consultants call it. So the sales numbers of Replaylee could be a pivotal make-or-break moment for them. If we're ever going to get a direct sequel to Yooka-Laylee, maybe it would be called Tooka-Laylee, although that's only one-letter difference and may lead to branding confusion. As it is, Andre from GameXplain has gone on record saying that the naming of Yooka-Laylee and Yooka-Replaylee is confusing, although I personally do not share his concern. Me, Alex Yard, here at 91.6 WAYZ, the Alex Yard Zone, terrestrial internet radio deep in the heart of Boston. Thank you all for being here for Replaylee, building momentum for the continued active age of 3D platformers, along with Pac-Man World 2 Repack, which I've also done some recent coverage on. I've also analyzed the music compositions of Banjo-Kazooie, and that's 3D, so have at it to keep Rareware alive and influential in the 2020s, along with Donkey Kong Bonanza in a major way. And Switch 2 customers, rest assured that Replaylee on Switch 2 Physical Edition is not a game keycard. It is $50 though, compared to $30 on all other platforms. With Switch 2, there's always a catch. And that's not Playtonic's fault. Nintendo is just not as developer-friendly when it comes to the numbers, compared to all the other gaming companies. So since Playtonic is clearly willing to acknowledge that Vanilla Laylee didn't make a splash, there is only one pending thing left to accomplish. The ultimate cherry on top that will officially make it absolutely, totally worth buying. You ready? Bring back JonTron. Bring back JonTron. It's not too soon. Enough time has passed. The time is right. YouTube hasn't banned JonTron, so why should Playtonic? Hat in Time did not ban JonTron, so why should Playtonic? Hat in Time came out the same year as Yooka-Laylee, 2017. Which game has a much better reputation? How's that JonTron pink slip working out for you? If Playtonic Games brings back JonTron, that will achieve equality with a Hat in Time. But I admit, if they don't bring back JonTron, it's not a deal breaker. I will still buy Yooka-Replaylee at launch. That is, using the 30% off voucher that I have on account of owning Vanilla Laylee, the original game. That voucher is available to anybody that has the OG. Meantime, I'll be content with playing Yooka-Laylee's Impossible Lair, which I have been quite enjoying. Dude, buttery level design. It really isn't just a knockoff Donkey Kong Country. Impossible Lair soars over the Retro Studios duology, in regard to my particular enjoyment levels. Impossible Lair has phenomenal chill audio that's charming and funny. You get the sense that the devs truly did learn their lesson after the grating audio in Yooka-Laylee 1, because Impossible Lair really nails it. The enemy death sounds are so funny, but they're also subdued. It's not all in your face and try hard. And when Laylee flies loose and is sort of waggling around and soars off, the sounds she yells out, it still makes me laugh. But face the facts. Replaylee needs all the bells and whistles that it can get. JonTron could be just what Playtonic needs to resuscitate their bottom line. The controversy it would cause would just be more promotion for the game. Preserve JonTron, reject revisionist history and art, and collect collectibles with purpose and confidence. If Replaylee is their only tentpole for a good while, then sales of this could directly determine the fate of that true 3D sequel to Yooka-Laylee. So if a person pays just $30 in 2025 You are supporting directly the legacy, the continued life of Rareware's golden era of Banjo DK64. By supporting it, you become part of it in the real world, and it's an honor. If Impossible Lair learned all the right lessons from Yooka-Laylee 1, then Playtonic deserves one more earnest, complete shot to synthesize it all together in a proper banjo lineage. And not just a remember when, but a step forward. That can pretty much only happen if you all buy Replaylee. Literally, if you don't chip in your $1.05, who will? Playtonic could maybe replay Treasure Trove Cove for inspiration to make sure they don't lose sight. That level was set up amazingly for a flow of stuff you could do versus a preview of what you can't do yet. Like I was saying, you never know. Community discussions could prompt a change of mind. Good night, everybody. Come and have a go if you think you're hot enough.